wrestling news, and today we are going to discuss a big super match which is scheduled for East versus West 6 on 21st of January 2023. So it is only a week away from now. Going to be an amazing match. 15 super matches. Pay-per-view is for $15 on coresports.tv, app.coresports.tv. And our guest Chan Shaw will be joining shortly. He should be available here in a couple of minutes. I was about 5-6 minutes late because I was recording a video, an interesting video about Monster Michael Todd, and I just came back from a practice. It was a good practice session. Not as long as I would have expected it to be, but it was good. PEP is in the house. Welcome, brother. Chan Shaw has already joined. How are you doing, brother?
Good. How are you?
I'm amazing, man. So how has the training been? Like last time I interviewed you, I think it was about a week ago. How many practice or gym sessions between now and then?
I mean, I've been training every day, so however many days,
Okay.
that many times I've been training. Um, on the table, I don't usually practice 2 weeks out, so I'm only what 8 days away from Davit, 9 days, something like that. So I won't be on the table at all. But like pulley system on the table, I've done that, gym sessions, things like that.
All right. I also did an arm wrestling practice session today. Felt good. Felt
Nice.
good. Yeah. Robert Gould is in the house. Adnan Ravashde. Damon Payne is saying, yo, chance. Performance enhancing pancakes. Love your content. Thanks, brother. Thank you, everyone.
Hey,
So,
Damon, you like
Chance,
the shirt? I know
yeah,
Damon likes
nine
it.
line. Nine line. Okay. So,
Yeah,
Chance,
I recently got a deal with Nine Line actually, so now I have a discount code thanks to Damon's.
that's great. That's
Yeah,
great. So, what's the website and how much discount are people going to
it's
get?
I believe it's 15% off with code Shaw 15 at Nine Line, uh, Nine Line
Shopit,
Apparel.
nine line. Okay. Yeah, that's amazing. So check out my sponsors as well. Old School Labs, 15% off. AWNEWZ code. For the supplement needs, you need the t-shirts, you need the supplements, you need everything. Hello, PEP.
There you
Robert
go.
Gold is saying, Chance, what is up with this? Why everyone chooses you for the comeback match for these legends? Richard Lupkes, John Brzezinski, and I'm not sure if I'm missing any or not. Like, why
Yeah,
are you the chosen one?
I'm like so lucky, right? Because I've got to pull John, Ron, Todd. Now I'm gonna be pulling Richard, and eventually, hopefully, I can check everyone off the list. But man, Michael, when I was at the last Monster Factory, I was talking to Michael and Rebecca about potential matches, not just for myself, but for everyone. He's like, yeah, I think Richard Lupkes is going to be here for the next one. I'm like, dude, I need that match. Like, I need that match. Give me that match, please, Michael. And yeah, so I guess he thought it was going to be a good matchup, and I asked for it. Right time, right place, whatever you want. But yeah, I get to pull all the legends. I don't know why, but to me, I was just talking with my buddy Brandon Morris about this. It's like every super match to me is like a trading card, and I'm like collecting all these trading cards. And I just pulled the Richard Lupkes, like the holographic, like amazing match. So yeah, it's definitely an honor. I'm excited about it.
So since the first time this match was brought up to you, it was mentioned to you. Since then till now, have you been in contact with Richard? Like, did you talk with him?
No, I've never talked with Richard.
Because in around 2020, the last time we saw him was on Neil Pickup's podcast during COVID times when Neil invited him. And after that, we got to hear that Richard is ill, Richard is sick. I think he
Mhm.
had COVID or something, but we never got to hear about his well-being from anyone. So was that a serious? Do you know anything about that?
From what I've heard, and this isn't directly from him, so take it with a grain of salt. But I heard he got COVID really bad, and he almost, it almost took him out. But I guess he's been recovered now for enough time where he's been training and he feels confident enough to be able to take a match. I don't even know if he knows who I am because he hasn't been in the game that long. He hasn't been in the game for about as long as I've been in, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I think Michael just said, "Hey, you're gonna pull this kid," and he's like, "Okay, I feel ready," and that's what it is. But yeah, as far as I understand, COVID had him pretty rough.
So his weight was fluctuating between 140 and 150 kilos. And if I remember correctly, Michael mentioned in his live stream that he was 330 pounds still. So he's still 150 kilograms. So he didn't really lose anything.
No,
Biceps 21, 23 inches, forearms 21 inches.
absolute monster. Definitely going to be the biggest opponent I've had for sure.
Yeah. I don't know, man. When is age going to catch up on his muscles? Like he still looks like I'm quite sure if you bring up a 56-year-old version of Richard Lupkes compared with this 66-year-old, he's probably going to look the same.
Yeah, probably exactly the same.
Yeah, that's a monster, man. And when like if you just compare the physique wise, if you line up the strongest, biggest looking 66-year-old dudes, I think he can compete on a world stage in that in
I
that
I
thing.
think he probably is the biggest, strongest 66-year-old.
Yeah.
Probably, right? I don't know anyone else.
Okay, performance enhancing pancakes is saying Chance looks tiny compared to Pradeep. Yeah, it is only I'm only about what 35 kilos bigger than Chance Shaw. I'm
Yeah.
about 89 kilos and Chance is just kidding. Chance is like way bigger than me, taller
This
than me as well.
morning I was 132.
132, so 33 kilos heavier than me. No, 43 kilos that heavier than me. 100
Yeah.
pounds, more than 100 pounds. Use code Arm Wrestling News Lagia. Thanks, brother. Will Chance weight be? What will Chance's weight be against Lupkes? Robert Gould is asking.
I'm on a slow cut right now. I think I told you, yeah, last time I was on the show, I said I'm going to be 243 by the end of the year. So, or 242. So I'm on a slow cut right now. I'll probably, that's in May. I'll probably be around like 270, 260, somewhere around there. Um, I'm
Yeah.
I'm cutting weight slowly, and if I start losing strength too much, then I'm gonna just try to maintain, keep my strength levels where they're at, and then lose again. Because obviously, I don't want to lose a bunch of strength going into my match with Richard Lupkes. That would just be silly. But I think the weight coming off, my cardio is getting better. I'm healthier. I don't think it'll be a bad thing.
Guy Chance Shaw is 290 pounds and he's cutting.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Pradeep,
Well,
with this narrow angle lens, trying to make us think that he's under 200 kilos. Amazing. So, have you ever changed your training style in these last couple of years? Like, are you focusing mainly on top roll or hook move as well? If in case you need that in a match,
yeah.
what
Do
does
you
your
mean on the
training look
table?
like?
Just on the table?
Both on gym in gym as well, and I'm on pulley basically, and on the table.
So, when was it? Beginning of last year, so about a year ago, I started training a Brandon Allen strength training program, and I haven't been consistent for the last, because it's been about a year. I haven't been doing it for a year, but when I am consistent on that, that's something that's new for me. Powerlifting training, I've never really done that before, and that seemed to help a lot. On the table, something that I've been doing is number one, training the hook. That's been the last about 2.5 years. Just I want it to be strong enough where if I do get in a situation where I need to use it, I can. Like we saw when I pulled Sandro Settis, for example, he beat me, but that round one when he turned me into a hook and I went sideways with him, it went really smoothly, I thought, other than the elbow foul. So I have been building it to have it. And then the other thing that I've been doing is something that Devin does a lot, which is just let the weaker opponent or the training partner go and just try to hold your pronation and your rise and kind of open up and come out and work that a bit. So I've been trying to do that to work my riser and my pronator a bit harder. Um, I guess those would be the only changes I could think of.
And Brandon Morris just say go is saying Chance versus the world. Lion Life of Iron is saying who's on Chance's opinion is going to win this match. Paulin, his homie Paulin, or my Rustam Babayev, his countryman Ukrainian Rustam Babayev. So your thoughts about Paulin
Um,
versus Rustam Babayev?
in the way that I'm looking at it is Paul is a huge underdog. Um, it's kind of a win-win for Paul, in my opinion, because he's going into a match facing probably the greatest, other than like John, the greatest middleweight ever. Definitely the greatest hook puller middleweight ever. I think that I have him over Zoliev for that, but that's just my personal opinion. So when you're going in to face this legend and you're kind of bringing him out of retirement in a way, it feels cool because I've been in that shoe. I did that with John. I'm about to do that with Richard. So it's really cool. I know for Paul, it's an honor and he's really excited. As far as how I think the match is going to go, I think it's going to go inside. And if Rustum is 80% or greater than what he's been in the past, I think it's going to be a long day for Paul. If Rustum is 90% or greater, it's going to be really, really one-sided. So it really, it's what shape is Rustum coming in at? Eventually, Paul is going to make that match closer, but at the current time, I think, I have Rustum.
I wanted to ask this question to Paul, but since you mentioned his name, I'm going to ask this to you as well. But it is more relevant for him. Maybe you can answer on his behalf. Like, what is the mindset of an elite arm wrestler going into these matches where they think that the possibilities of winning a match are really low? Like, everyone is going to say on camera that I wish my opponent shows up in the best shape ever. But is the arm wrestler really thinking that in his mind, or is he thinking that, man, I pray to God that he doesn't show up in a great shape? Like, what would your mindset be if you were going against Rustam Babayev in that match?
So for me personally, I would rather lose to a really, really high form version of Rustum than beat a really crappy form of Rustum. The last thing that I would want if I
I'm
was
sorry.
Paul.
I'm sorry. I to interrupt, but you can beat a crappy version of Rustam, and nobody is going to know that it was the crappy version. He will say that he was good, and you will say he was good. So who knows?
In my head, I would know because,
Yeah.
like, for example, when I faced John Berzink, if I would have just 3-0'd him, I know that I'm not
Yeah.
facing the same John Berzink that I could have been. So,
Correct.
like, for me personally, I would rather lose to a higher level guy than beat a lower level guy, even if it's the same guy. Um, to me, it gives me more credibility if I can stop the match with a higher level version than beat the lower level version. And I think that Paul would probably feel the same. He's probably looking to face the best version of Rustum that he can. Because Paul is a guy who really he cares a lot about winning, but mostly he cares about improving. And by facing a better opponent, you're going to improve, I believe.
And guys, if somebody can link Chan Shaw's YouTube channel in the comment section, it will be awesome. Guys, please subscribe to
Thank you.
Chan Shaw as well. I think 2-3 thousand people are going to watch this live stream. Please, if we can get 100 from that to subscribe to Chan Shaw's channel, that will be amazing. So, brother, before we go move ahead, let's just finish the Richard Lupkes topic first. What do you think, realistically speaking? Let's say he comes back in a shape where he left. I think his last match was against Ryan SP, if I'm remembering correctly, in 2019, and he lost to Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
If he shows up in that kind of shape, how do you see your chances against him? And I'm asking this question because from whatever little observation I've made about this match, Richard seems to be difficult to top roll. The way
Mm-hmm.
now, especially in his old age, is to beat him through a hook. Because Ryan SP is a top roller. And when Ryan SP is going inside after failing to go outside and then going inside and beating him, it shows that beating him inside may be an easier option. So, how do you see your chances in that match?
Um, if Richard shows up in the shape that he was against Ryan Espy, I think that I'll beat Richard. And I would be pretty confident about that. I don't know if Richard's going to show up in that shape, if he's going to be in better shape. None of us really know. I don't even think Richard could probably know. I think that I can top roll him. I know he's very difficult to top roll, but my goal when I'm top rolling is to keep his wrist like this, not like this. If I get this, it's amazing, but if I get this, then I'm comfortable. So all I need to do is keep him flat, and I think that I could. If it went inside, it's hard to say. I think that I can hang with, or I think I can beat Ryan Espy inside. So if Ryan was able to do it, then I think that I could do it as well. So yeah, I hope he comes in better form than that. But yeah, I would feel pretty confident.
It's going to be difficult. Like, he was, what, 63 years old back then? Now he's
Yeah,
66. I don't
66.
think it is. I don't think it will be possible for him to
But
show
I
up.
did hear that, like, a year or two ago, he entered a tournament. I don't remember what tournament it is, and he ran through everyone. And I guess the second best guy would have been Robbie Burnett, and he just plowed through Robbie Burnett. So that's pretty substantial.
Yeah. So looks like for now you are keeping both options open. If the top roll doesn't work, Of course, it is going to be a primary move, but you're going to willing to be going in a hook as well against him.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if round one, you're gonna see me do my ace move, and if it doesn't work, you're gonna see me try something different, and that's probably gonna be a hook.
And Summer is asking what Chance thinks about Prime Lupkes versus Levan.
I don't think that Prime anyone is beating Prime like the best Levon that we've seen. Like I or even today's Levon. I don't know where he's at, but yeah.
Yeah,
I think
Richard had
I think
this
Levon is number one, and Prime everyone else is still under him.
because Prime Richard Lupkes was also, I think, I'm not sure if he was in his prime back then or not, but he was beaten by a 90 kilo John Brzezinski as well. He
Yeah.
beat him as well, but I think they have a record like 4 pins to 4 pins. They have kind of an equal record. So he lost to John Brzezinski as well in his prime or somewhere around his prime. So against
Now in
Levan,
sit down arm wrestling, I think Richard could win.
yeah, he's
That's
never
my honest.
lost. He has
He's
never
never
lost.
lost. And I don't know if there's anyone that would be beating him.
Yeah, because his style is basically, even when he's standing up,
It's this.
his style is like sit down arm wrestling.
Exactly. So I think for sit down, he's still the man, but no, in the straight up match, Levon would be the prime.
Yeah, against Levan, like especially in a super match, 6 round super match, how many times can you surprise a guy like Levan with this quick side pressure move? Maybe once if you're lucky, but it
Maybe.
is not. Yeah, maybe, but it
Yeah.
is not going to work after that for sure. So now coming to your match against David Arabuli. For our viewers, please explain to them, like explain to us, who is David Arabuli? How much research have you done about that guy?
I've done a little bit of research. Honestly, I haven't dove that deep into his past, into his history, because most of the things are over 5 years ago, so I'm not sure how much relevance they'll carry today. As far as his level, he's medaled in Europeans every time he's competed that I know of in the 110 kilo class. He's medaled in WAF as well, both on the left and on the right. I believe his right is a little bit better, but his left isn't too bad either. He's a hook puller. He doesn't hook like Zurab here, but he hooks more like here, more traditional hooking. He trains with Levon Saganashvili. You can see him training with him in Levon's most recent video, and he's pinning Levon in practice. This is after a workout. I'm not saying by any means he's on Levon's level, but he's a very, very strong guy. He's a serious threat. According to Ingen, he's on Sandras's level. So I just think he's on Sandras's level. He doesn't have as many tools as Sandras, and for me, I think he's a better fit. I think the match is going to be one-sided with me and Davit. That's my honest opinion. I think that either I am going to keep him out of a hook and I will beat him, or he will put me in a hook and he will beat me. I think that I don't see him putting me in a hook and us having a war. I don't think that I'm on that level inside. But I don't see him being strong enough to hold me here either.
Let me go back to something that you mentioned earlier. Round 1 against Sandris, you said that he forced you in a hook. What was the situation there? Did you
Yeah,
go
it
in a
wasn't
hook?
necessarily he forced me into a hook. It was more I was baiting it. Like I wasn't just trying to do this like most of the time I am. I'm trying to bait him into a hook by giving this up a little bit so I can stay high, and then I feel really comfortable here driving. So my hand was already starting to fatigue round 1 in just the setup, so I knew it was going to be trouble. So round 1, I wanted to try something different. So when I said he put me in a hook, it's like I'm baiting the hook. I'm like, I know that he wants to go that way because he's going to go here. And if he goes there and I catch it here, I feel really confident to pull it over. So that's kind of what that was.
PEP saying that Chance, trust me, you need to use the javelin move
The javelin move. Against who?
against
Maybe Bowen?
yeah, David Arabuli or Richard Lupkes or Bowen. Yeah.
I think they would break my arm if I tried to do that to them.
You're not going back to East versus West if you try to do that there.
No way.
Okay. I think Hermes and Chance probably most improved arm wrestlers in 2022. Check them in as the last year. I want to like this is diverting from topic but I want to mention Hermes Gasparini here. I saw a photo from East versus West and Dave and Hermes were measuring their hands, and Dave's hand was like twice the size of Hermes Gasparini. Like it was like that much wider than him and also longer than him. And to me, it is surprising how Hermes Gasperini, who was probably weighing 90 kilos when he was 26, 27 years old, he has the frame of that guy, can become a super heavyweight and be possibly ranked number 2 in the world. I don't think it has happened in the recent times. Like a guy from 90 kilos or below going to. People are saying that Levan was also 90 kilos. Yeah, when he was 19 years old. Levan was already competing in 110 kilos when he was 24. So Levan cannot be that example. Do you remember anyone else who was even till his mid or slightly like towards the late 20s was competing in 90 kilos and became a super heavyweight and got to like number 2 spot in the world?
I can't think of anyone. I can think of examples like Levon, for example, where in his early 20s, late teens, he was around that category. Saplinkov was like that. You can see pictures of Saplinkov at like 18, and he's like, I don't know, maybe 180 pounds. But in their 20s, no, I don't think I can think of anyone. I mean, Michael Todd used to compete at like 90 kilos. And at some point, you could argue that he was, in that top 3 range.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like it hasn't happened in a long time. I would
No,
say
no, no.
that Michael. When was the last time Michael was really top 2 3 range? I think it was at least 5 6 years ago, or maybe
It just
2000
depends.
2018 when he beat Dave Chaffee. That shape
Yeah,
looked well good.
yeah, yeah.
19 I think it was. Yeah.
So, 3 years ago, not, well, I guess almost 4, but yeah.
Spetsnaz is saying that Pradeep, new Denis Siplenkov video in True Power channel. Can you please break that down for us? I'll watch it. I've just watched the thumbnail. It was uploaded a couple of hours ago, I think. I'll watch it. I haven't checked it out yet. So your opponent, when Irakli Zirakashvili beat him, like you mentioned, Levan, he pinned Levan in a practice in a hook, but Irakli went with him in a hook and beat him. And you also mentioned that I can even beat you in a sleep. If you wake up from me from my sleep, I'll still beat you, David. And David was like, he was not really happy to hear that.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
does that give you any hope? Like his even his inside power may not be that much if he gets there.
I can't really judge that because I don't know how strong Irakli is on the inside these days. Irakli is improving a ton every day. But also, according to Levon, the only reason that Irakli can beat him is not because he's stronger, but because Davit has like he's a little bit nervous to pull Irakli or something like that. I don't know exactly what he said, but that's what I got out of it. Is like it's just a mental thing. So I don't want to put too much stock into anything. If it goes inside, if I fatigue or if I can't get him outside or whatever, obviously I'm going to put my everything into it. I don't think that I'm as strong as he is on the inside. I think that he's probably one level above me, but I could be wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. And, I beat him here and I beat him here. And then I just feel amazing, but yeah.
And Chance, now we have seen in a few high level matches like against John Brzezinski, against Zurab Tavbaridze, and a couple of more matches that it is difficult for anyone to hook you. But I still wouldn't say that fact is completely solidified yet at the international level, that at his level, people who are on par with Chance Shaw, they cannot hook Chance. I don't think that fact has yet been established. But if the trend continues against David Arabuli as well, I think it would be a fair assumption to say that do not hook Chance Shaw.
Yeah. Yeah. If Davit can't hook me, and I suspect he won't be able to, but if he can't hook me, then I don't know too many people that can hook me. Because he might, I mean, his hook is very, very like world class. And he's coming in at like, I think in the video he said it was around 270. So we're getting a big version of this dude, trained up, super strong. If he can't set the hook, not many people can.
Yeah. So I think you can win this match for sure. I'm going to this time. I'm going. Last time I predicted you to lose, and I remember that when you beat him, you told me that you said that you are going to win that match and you won it. But this time I am actually predicting you to win, and I think for you to win, it has to be one-sided. Do you believe that in your matches? Like, do you see yourself winning in a war? Because I don't think we have seen that yet. You have to win one-sided.
Yeah, yeah. because usually it's if I get to my position, I'm not getting beat. If I don't get to my position, you're probably going to beat me. It's pretty one-sided usually.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said earlier, I think it's going to be a one-sided match, 3-0. I don't see it going any other way. Unless I get up 2 and then I'm too tired or something, but I don't see that happening either.
So guys, East versus West link is in the description, I guess. And if it is not, the moderators, arm wrestling fan, please mention that here. $15 pay-per-view. Chan Shaw is going to face David Arabuli. He's a European champion multiple times. Great high-level arm wrestler. A big test for Chan Shaw, and I think it is a big test for David as well, especially after coming back after so many years. So I think that's about it for this match. And now let's move on to some other topics. People are saying that Ryan Bowen is going to hook you, Chance. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah. I don't have much to say about my match with.
Were you impressed, or was it just a showmanship or like a fake practice pull with Lachlan Adair to kind of rise Ryan Bowen's stocks against you in that match?
In my opinion, whether it was real or fake, it doesn't really matter to me. I've never pulled Lachlan. He's not a measuring stick against me. Number one, Lachlan is only a measuring stick against himself in my eyes. If Ryan's improved, that's great. I'm also not a hook puller. I'm not going to be trying to do this or this. You know, I don't arm wrestle like Lachlan, so it doesn't mean a whole lot. But also in the video, you see Lachlan losing to Marcus Atiri. So are we supposed to believe that Marcus Atiri has also leveled up, or are we supposed to believe that Lachlan is tired? To me, there's an obvious answer, but everyone can decide for themselves. So do I put any stock into it? None at all. Yeah, Ryan's improving. It's great. I want him to be the best that he's been. So when I beat him, you know, I beat the best version of him. But no, I don't really care that he had a hook puller.
Yeah, Ryan was top rolling him. Like, when was the last time you were top rolled in a super match? I'm not saying like the Todd Hutchings match when you were completely gassed out. Todd top rolled you towards the end. Not like that. A fresh match. First round, I think it was Sandra say this, and which other match were you top rolled?
So round 1, Sandra set us first. We hooked. And then after that, he top rolled, but it was like here. Yeah, so Sandra's top rolled me. John Brzenk didn't really top roll me. It was side pressure like this. The whole match, John's wrist was back a little bit. So I don't know if you'd call that a top roll or not. Sandra's. Todd beat me. Side pressure. I think that would be the last guy I can think of as Sandra's.
Yeah, what I was trying to get from that is that you actually need a decent level top roll to top roll you. It is not like that you are good against hook pullers. You are good against top rollers as well. You need to have a very high level hook in order to beat you there as well.
Yeah, I think you need to be a little bit higher level in the hook to beat me than you do in a top roll. Like, top roll would technically be my weakness, but it's not like I'm losing to random people. Like, I just beat BJ Fakakis, who is a really good top roller in the United States, and I was able to contain and go sideways against.
That was one of your, I would say, not one of, that was for me your best like highest display of strength till now, because we know how good Paul Lynn is, and we know that recently, it wasn't that long ago, that BJ Fakakis top rolled Paul Lynn, and he wasn't able to do anything with you, especially considering that you are a fast puller, explosive puller, and you were kind of holding him there and waiting like for him to use whatever he can and then pinning him. That was really impressive.
Thank you.
So Fresh as a Daisy was saying that Ryan made fake arm wrestling session video before, nothing new now. I'm not sure what he's talking about. I don't remember which practice session he's saying. Okay, PEP was mentioning that do not talk crap about the Giants from Brisbane. They will find you. Marcus Atira.
I'm definitely not talking crap about anyone. I'm just saying that they're not a measuring stick compared to me, because we have never pulled. So there's no data.
He's just kidding. So let's talk about East versus West once again. Mm-hmm. What do you have to say about this organization? Like, it came out of nowhere. Engin Terzi was invited by Neil Pickup on a show. Neil told Engin that nothing is really happening. We need to start things up. And Engin was off social media till that time for about 4 or 5 years. And then he came back on social media, and he created this masterpiece that could probably not be replicated by anyone at this level. What do you have to say about East versus West?
I think that East versus West is the single best organization or league or whatever you want to call it event that there is out there right now, for arm wrestlers. We have matches every couple months that we have been wanting to see for years. We get to see the best of the best at it every couple months, which is really truly amazing. And we get to see a wide variety of athletes. I mean, like 28 athletes at this next event, and it's always between 20 and 30 athletes at every event. It's really amazing. I think what Ingen is doing for the sport is incredible. We're really lucky that he's doing it, that he has done it. And I'm really excited to see where it goes in the future. Every single event is getting better as far as production quality goes, as far as camera work and replays and social media. I don't think we're too far away from this being such a major high quality production that a network couldn't pick it up. Like I really think ESPN might be interested in something like this down the road. Whether Ingen wanted to do that or not is another thing, and I'm not saying he should or shouldn't. I'm just saying it's really getting to the point where it's really high level, and I think we're all lucky to have him. I'm extremely honored. This is going to be the third one I've been part of. I've been part of half of them, which is really an honor for me, because every time I'm around these legends, I don't feel like I belong at that table yet. And so it's really nice that I keep getting invited back. So I really appreciate that from Ingen as well.
Yeah. I've been invited to 3 of them and I haven't been able to go there once because I cannot get visa. Without going into too much details, I cannot get visa to go there. So
Yeah.
for one thing, that what is your like communication with Engin Terzi? When was the first time he contacted you or you contacted him, and what is his procedure for setting up matches? Like, without going into too much details, as much as you can, like how does the negotiations go, and when was the first time he contacted you?
So I think the very first time I talked to Ingen, and I could be off with this, I'd have to double check, but I think the first time ever was after my match with John Brzenk. Ingen made a video about my match with John, and was saying, you know, he was giving me some kudos, which I really appreciated. So I messaged him like, hey, thank you a lot. And I asked him what he thinks that I should work on to improve, because I know Ingen is probably the second greatest arm wrestler of all time and probably the most knowledgeable arm wrestler of all time. So I really wanted to reach out and get his opinion. We chatted a little bit, and for East versus West 2, I wanted to be a part of it, and I was going to be in Sweden at that time, so I wasn't too far. And I asked Ingen if it would be possible to be on that card, and that I would pay my own way. I didn't want anything from him in return. I just wanted to be a part of such an awesome organization. And so he allowed me to do that. And I guess based on my character, my performance, whatever, Ingen liked me, so he invited me back for East versus West 4 against Zurab. And after my performance there, he's continued to reach out to me for matches. I talked to Ingen a couple times a week about East versus West, not specific to my match, just about East versus West in general. I try to help him in any way I can. But as far as how negotiation works, for me, it's been, Chance, I want you to pull this guy. And then I say, okay, I'm not too sure. Let me think about it. And then he says, I need an answer by the end of the day. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm pulling him. Ingen's very much like he wants it like this, which is really good, because if I had a few days to think about my match with Zurab, I would have said no. So because Ingen pushed me into it, I said yes, and I won, and it's led to more. So yeah, with Ingen, it's, hey, I'll give you this, and I want you to pull this guy, and I need an answer tomorrow or today. And so I just say yes, and we move on.
Yeah, it's amazing to know these inside information, because Engin sets up matches like that. We have seen in the past that other promoters, they take forever to set up matches, but whenever somebody gets injured, Engin Terzi is like already coming up with a replacement. When he announces the injury, he's also announcing the replacement match. And like, in order to be able to set 15 or 16 matches like in this one, you need to be fast. You need to give Chanshaw only one day to think if you have to manage 16 matches like that. So I think that's reasonable on his part. William is saying it's a shame that one has to lick the boot and sign exclusively to WAF to be able to compete in East versus West. If you sign with East versus West and compete in IFA, you are handed a lifetime ban. That's not entirely true, brother. Like,
No,
King
it's
of the
not.
Table or Dubai has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with WAF. And there we saw Irakli Zirek actually competed twice there, and he competed at East versus West as well. So I'm not sure if what you're saying is true or not.
It's
And
it's
Pradeep,
it's not true. I can touch on that a little bit.
yeah,
The only thing is because Engin is involved in Turkish arm wrestling so heavy, and Turkish arm wrestling, the federation is involved with the government, there can be no organized arm wrestling match that is not under the Turkish Arm Wrestling Federation. And the Turkish Arm Wrestling Federation is part of WAF. So in a way it's involved with WAF, but that's only because per the government, it has to be essentially to be held in Turkey. That's not necessarily a decision. I mean, I'm not going to speak for Engin, but and basically he doesn't have any decision. You can compete anywhere if you go to that event, but if you are in bad standing, you can't compete at WAF. So it's not like you're signing a contract WAF only, but if you're banned from WAF, you're also banned from this event. If you've competed at IFA Worlds and you wanted to do this, you would just have to basically sign, that you're a WAF athlete, but that doesn't mean that you can't go back and compete in IFA. You would just be banned from WAF again, and they might not let you back. So it's not as serious as you might think it is.
yeah. And this perfectly transitions into my next question. I'm not sure if you watched the video that I uploaded yesterday. There is another legend that is coming back to arm wrestling. Can you guess who?
Yes, I can guess who, but I'm not going to guess. I want you to tell me.
Alexei Vovoda is coming back to arm wrestling. What do you have to
Yes.
say about that? What would his level be right now? What is your guess? And can he compete against, like, for example, John Brzezinski in his comeback match?
Yeah. It's really, for me, it's hard to say because the last time we saw him have a comeback match was against Tim Breslin, right? Tim beat him and then he fell off the face of the planet. So as much as I want an awesome comeback from Alexei, I think the only way that we see that is if he had an easy match back so he could generate some steam, generate some hype. If he were to pull someone like John, I think John would beat him, and I think that he would disappear again, unfortunately. But
So that,
if he
yeah.
came back and we gave him an easy match and then like he had a year of progress and the ball rolling, then I think he can compete at a pretty high level. Not like top 5 in the world anymore, but at a really high level.
Okay, so what's an easy match? Is Chanshaw an easy match for him?
That I would crush Alexei Vovoda. Come on. Give him like Ryan Bowen. That's an easy match.
Lots of people mentioned that name when I made that video. Everyone was saying that give Ryan Bowen to Alexei Vovoda. He should not go up against anyone who's at a higher level. And we're not sure what his weight is, if he's still doing that vegan thing. And once he uploaded a video when people were pushing this concept that he needs to come back, this idea, he once also made a video. I saw some translation that he was like, no too much steroids in arm wrestling. I want clean leagues. He was speaking stuff like that. So I'm sure if he still believes that, and he's vegan and off juice, if he wants to come back like that, it is going to be a bad day for him. That's what I guess.
Yeah, he would have to pull like 6th place WAF finishers, kind of maybe even lower than that to be able to have any comeback.
Yeah, and this shows that Engin Terzi is already working on Russians playing or competing at East versus West, because Alexei Vovoda is Russian, and he did say in yesterday's live stream. Please check out that video on my channel if you're not sure what we're talking about here. So Engin did say that he will be competing in July. He did not say that he will be competing at East versus West, but he did mention that Alexei Vovoda is making a comeback in July. So it is a safe assumption that he will be competing at East versus West 8, I think it is going to be. And if he is competing, then we can say that other Russians are coming as well, because Engin wants to invite them so badly. He's been pushing that thing for a very long time to the WEF officials that he wants to invite the Russians. So that is a clear sign. If he's competing, then Then Zaur is also competing. Then probably Denis Siplenkov is also competing. Vitaly Laletin is also competing. I think till that time, till East versus West 7, it will be difficult for Engin to beat the standard of East versus West 5. But when the
Mhm.
Russians are there, Denis, Zaur, Vovoda, Vitaly, then I think it is going to be by far
Maybe
the best.
Salayev.
Yeah, Dmitry Salayev, best event like people have ever seen.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if Zauer is there, who's he gonna pull? Do we get to see him face maybe Hermes?
Hermes
Maybe
Gasparini. Yeah.
yeah, maybe Levon. I don't know. It just depends how things fall out, right? That's
Yeah.
it. I mean, it's really exciting. That's super exciting stuff. And hopefully I can win my match, and if I win, then maybe I'm deserving of a spot, and maybe I can be part of that card so I can just watch it in person because that's truly amazing.
Yeah, I think Zaur versus Hermes is already set. And now,
Is it?
if we think of it, Engin did say that in April, Zaur can be competing. So maybe it is
Okay.
as soon as April, East versus West 7, we are going to see Russians. Who knows?
Interesting.
Yeah. I remember now because I edited that video for East versus West channel, where Engin was talking with Zaur and there and I also interviewed Zaur and he also said that he's going to have a super match in April. And what's there in
Okay.
April? East versus West.
Interesting. I didn't
And
know
it
about
is,
that.
yeah, it's most possibly like 90% against Hermes Gasparini. Like, how do you see that match, Hermes versus Zaur?
I think Hermes personally. I don't have as much as I want to believe there could be another number 2 guy in the world and we could have this monster. Um we've only seen him beat Russians, which says a lot because Russia's super strong, but it could be like a stylistic thing. He
Yeah.
could just have a really good style against these pullers. And when he faces someone outside of that, he could have trouble. So until I see more evidence, I would say Hermes.
If we talk about styles, of course, I'm not that much experienced in this, but Dmitry Selayev is like 6'1", I guess. He's not that
Mhm.
much tall, maybe 6'2", and he's a top roller. Vitaly is like 6'9", and he's a top roller. So it shows that if we talk about length only of arm, Zaur is able to deal with that range at least from 6'1" to 6'9". He can deal with you if you are a top roller. I'm not sure what kind of different weapons Hermes Gasparini is going to possess, which Zaur and Vitali do not have combined.
Yeah,
Which
I believe
Dimitri.
that Hermes style of top roll is not the same as Vitali or Salayev. It is a different style of top rolling. Yes, you could just classify them all as top rolling and you'd be correct, but there's a little bit more to it than that.
Yeah. So you think Hermes Gasparini will win? They both are
I do.
like completely not considering the other person as a worthy opponent. Zaur is like, Hermes is not even a super heavyweight. Why are you even talking about that match? It is going to be 6-0 very quick. And
Yeah,
and he's like, Hermes Gasparini is like, no, Zaur is a joke. He has not beaten anyone. Why do you think he needs to face me? So they are completely neglecting the possibilities of having a
of each
close
other.
match. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's interesting. I mean, it could be a close match. Personally, I would have to lean towards Hermes until Zauer beat someone else. Like if Zauer and Chafee was set and Zauer crushed Chafee too, then I could say, okay, now I know that there's a match. And Chafee's just one example. And I know Hermes beat Chafee too, but if I just saw him against someone else, then I would be able to justify it in my head a little bit more.
Yeah. And somebody mentioned in Reddit as well, and here they're also talking about Georgia's ban. Georgia's ban was for a different reason. 2021 WAF was scheduled to be in Georgia, but for some COVID reasons, for some government policies, they were not able to organize the WAF 2021 championship in Georgia. And because of that, the WAF Federation got angry with them and they banned everyone. Like they said, it was a financial loss for everyone. They're waiting on them, and finally Georgia couldn't organize. That was the reason why Georgians were banned, and I think now they're going to compete this year, possibly. I'm not sure. So I think, Chance, that's about it. Anything else that you want to add before we end this stream?
No, I mean, I just appreciate it if you come over to my channel as well, subscribe to that. And then also this year we're running 11 events in Florida, the Florida Arm Wrestling League. All of those are going to be live streamed on the Florida Arm Wrestling League YouTube channel as well. So if you're interested in watching Florida Arm Wrestling, of course, I'll be a part of it. We have a lot of great names. Go over to Florida Arm Wrestling League on YouTube as well, and check us out over there.
Are you in any form associated with the qualifiers that Angin Terzi is having?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm running the South. Me and Brandon Morse under the FAL, we are running the Southeast qualifier. So that is going to be February 4th. That's going to be in the Tampa, Florida area. It's going to be a really awesome event. We're really looking forward to it. I think we're the first qualifier. So, again, if maybe if people aren't familiar with a qualifier, it's going to be 12 total athletes unless someone qualifies left and right as well. So the top two of the 176, 198, 242, and supers, the top two of those are going to be going to finals, as well as the 154 and below ladies and 154 and over ladies. At our event, this is not for all of the events, but at our event, women are competing for free. So if you're a woman interested in qualifying, come down to our event, enter it, and earn your spot. The finals weight category is going to be different than our qualifier. The final weight category is going to be 170, 190? No, 170, 200, 240, and 240 plus. Is that correct, Pradeep?
I don't know. I don't know in
I'm
pounds.
like 99% sure.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so guys, the final things: East versus West, $15 pay-per-view at app.codesports.tv. Please, some of the moderators, if they can find it one more time, link it in the chat. And Chan Shaw's YouTube channel, we need to get him at least 50 subscribers from this live stream. And subscribe to my channel as well. Like the video. Old School Labs, the sponsors of the channel. Arm Wrestling News and Chance 9line Apparel. Maybe you want to tag that.
Yes, 9line Apparel. Code Shaw15 at checkout for a 15% discount.
Thanks, everyone. Amazing.
Thank you, Pradeep.